Faith is faith. Even if you only have a little faith, you have real faith. Here's today's text. It is from Matthew chapter 14, verse 31. Jesus immediately reached out his hand and took hold of him, saying to him, "O you of little faith, why did you doubt?" In Peter's famous water walking episode, the impetuous fisherman spent a few moments on top of the water, and then when he saw the wind and the waves, glub, glub, glub. Most of the messages I've ever heard on this text highlight the failure of Peter and Jesus' words to the sinking disciple, "O you of little faith." Traditionally, preachers highlight the frailty of Peter's faith, but does it really make sense that Jesus would mock Peter for stepping out in faith? After all, Peter walked on water at least for a little while. The original Greek reveals a one-word declaration on Jesus' lips. He calls Peter a little faith one. A little faith one. It's actually a term that Christ uses numerous times of the disciples. Wonder if the term wasn't a phrase of derision. Wonder if it was a term of endearment. Little faith is still real faith. If Jesus calls you a little faith one, he's acknowledging that you have some faith. Elsewhere, he assures that even a mustard seed of faith is powerful enough to move mountains. Imagine two men, Sam and Joe, are seated on a plane next to each other, flying from Charlotte to Dallas. Sam's a seasoned traveler with million-mile elite status. He's been flying all his life. Sam has so much faith that the plane will get him safely from his destination that he doesn't even think about it. Sam just gets on the plane, takes a nice nap en route, and Sam wakes up in Dallas, refreshed and happy. Joe, on the other hand, is scared to fly. He hates it, but obviously has to take this flight. His job depends on it, and Joe's a nervous wreck. His palms sweat as he puts a death grip on the armrests and rejects the mid-flight refreshments. When Joe gets off the plane in Dallas, he's worn out from all of the worry. So you might call Sam much faith and Joe little faith. But the intriguing question looms, is little faith Joe any less in Texas than much faith Sam? Indeed not. A little faith still got Joe to Dallas. Charles Spurgeon sums up the point of the story very well, I think. He says, if you have a faith whose eyes are on Jesus, whose longings are for Jesus, whose hopes are all centered in Jesus, whose steps all head to Jesus, then you have a faith upon which Jesus sets his seal. And though he calls it little, yet he calls it faith. Be sure that that which the Lord himself acknowledges to be faith is faith, even though for the present it leaves you damp with the brine from which you are newly plucked. And that's the gospel. That's today's good news. You can get more devotionals just like it by clicking here, or better yet, subscribe. Get all of these. Start your day with good news. And I hope that you have a day of at least a little faith.